going on, everybody? It's Tuesday, and Tuesday we wear red and we forge iron. Keep that up for an hour or two. You'll feel it in your arm. Got lots of projects going on here at Mystic Fire Forge. The sun is rising upon this land. Tuesday. We forge steel, we wear red, and we reject all forms of slavery. Have a good day. Well, it's Tuesday again. You know what that means. And happy late Imbolc, everybody. Festival of the Hearth Goddess Brigade. So, we're forging frying pans. Well, starting to warm up in here now. We got lots of snow on the ground right now. I mean, lots for Oregon. But yeah, blood is flowing a little bit slower today. Just like Drago here, feeling a bit cold-blooded. Anyway, I'm working on another project right now too. Got the start of an axe. Well, it's just a bar in the forge right now, but I'll show you how I split steel without a power tool. It's gonna be like another one of these guys I just finished. But right now I'm just splitting the steel to cut it down to size and doing it without one of these things. So yeah. There you go. Just gotta find your tongs. And your chisel. Blacksmithing is you hit the iron while it's hot. Woo! It gets a little warm. quench the chisel to preserve the tip. Otherwise, the tip gets soft and dull. Alright, well, got the afterglow going now. It's a good forge sesh. Stop at the end of the night, catch your breath. The tobacco and cannabis spliff. Tobacco corresponds to the sphere of Mars as well as the color red, and of course the iron. Also, the fifth card of the Major Arcana of the Tarot, called the Heirophant, which was traditionally, well, conventionally, it's depicted as a priest, often with very reminiscent of Christianity type garb. A long red flowing robe, a gold crown. Of course, the robe is trimmed with white. But this is a very modern interpretation of the Heirophant. Before Christianity, the sphere of Mars was of the forge. The forger of iron, a solar, Martian, Jupiterian metal workers who would facilitate ceremonies, including weddings. We get the term wedding from the term welding. You have to weld a ring. You have to seal it up at the end. You start with a little bar and you curl it around and you weld it together, symbolizing the union of man and woman. But for the longest time, it went out. For the longest time, it was those solar men, and not just working with steel, but crafting with wood as well. Wood, of course, is very symbolic of the solar mythos. Carpenters would form an arch over a wedding procession. They would also have anvils present at weddings, because an anvil is a mighty chunk of iron, mighty chunk of steel. And the thing about iron is it draws electrons to it. In that sense, it's not good to put in your garden because it will draw all of the ambient etheric energy to that and not into your plants. It's much better to use copper in your garden. But they would have an anvil present at a wedding because it would draw the ambient electrons and all of that psychic energy of the ceremony into that one point, right where the bride and the groom would stand. So, for thousands of years, the people looked to the smiths. And the counterpart of the smith was often the herbalist. But then Christianity came on the scene. And the Piscean fish priests went out across the land preaching their gospel and ultimately became very jealous and envious of the smith, who still was revered and let's not forget, often feared by the villagers, but was always recognized as a very important, necessary influence in the tribe. And as such, people would stop by, pass by, and just gaze at the smith doing his work. Almost, there's a very mesmerizing quality about a chunk of burning steel, glowing steel. And so the priests of Christianity just couldn't have this. And so they did their best to demonize the profession. Svarog, the solar blacksmithing god of the Slavic people, he became a dragon in Christianity and was sort of marginalized. I must give credit to Thomas Sheridan for really elucidating this point for me. One of his solstice videos, I believe, he talked about this. And yes, I am incredibly grateful for that man's videos. I should say a few points on the subject of religion, because the Heirophant, of course, being a priest, is often seen as the keeper of religion, when more accurately he's the keeper of mysteries, he or she. Let us not forget the Hearth Goddess Brigade. But religion is often symbolized by a chain. The very word religare in Latin means to tie. And this has a double meaning because it can tie or link you to a higher force, or it can also enslave you and put you in bondage force. I actually used a chain earlier tonight, helping somebody out of a ditch with their car. So chains and the Heirophant definitely go together, but of course the ability to forge a chain also means you have the ability to break chains. And so my mission is to break those chains you have to all forms of slavery from government, and to unite you back to that higher force. It's such a large subject, but I think for now that's a good start on breaking the ice on it.